My financially struggling roommate stole my photos to catfish someone online. He ended up landing a young heiress from a powerful business dynasty, with an overwhelming need for control. The day they were supposed to meet in person, he begged me through tears to meet her in his place. That woman's exquisite beauty completely dazzled me. Just as I was about to accept her bouquet, lines of floating comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. He's got some nerve. How dare he deceive the heroine? Does he have any idea how crazy she is in private? Tie him to a bed for 3 days and nights, and he'll behave. The heroine is not like this useless fool of a supporting guy at all. She loves the male lead's radiant soul. Once she learns the truth, he will not be laughing when his family is destroyed and he has lost everyone he loves. I bit my lip. In the end, I spoke. I am not the person who dated you online. On Liu Ryan's beautiful face, her smile vanished at once. The moment the words left my mouth, I quietly breathed a sigh of relief. I did not dare look at her expression. I could only sneak a glance at the bouquet. They were Ecuadorian roses, flown and fresh. They matched my suit perfectly. I have always been a little slow on the uptake. I rarely fight for anything myself. When people ask me to do something, I usually do not refuse. When I first learned my roommate, Boxiao, was using my photos to date online, I was not even that angry. I only told him to explain it to her immediately. Boxiao agreed readily enough. Qiang, please, could you meet her for me? Once you see her, break up with her. I promise I will never use your photos again. He cried until tears and snot covered his face. Afraid he would wipe his face on my clothes, I quickly stepped half a pace back. Stop crying. I will go. The instant I actually saw Liu Ryan, I admit, I was a little stunned. Wow, she was ridiculously gorgeous. As a total sucker for a pretty face, I was instantly bewitched. I nearly agreed to be her boyfriend without thinking. Luckily, I saw those floating comments in time. So, you mean, your roommate used your photos to date me online? Liu Ryan furrowed her brows slightly. Even her frown was unfairly beautiful. I did not dare stare any longer. I nodded. I pointed at Boxiao, cowering in a corner and watching from afar. He is right there. Liu Ryan looked where I pointed. The moment Boxiao saw us turn, he spun around and fled in panic. She gave me a long look. A dangerous fury churned in her eyes. I hurriedly assured her again and again. I truly had no idea. She only said flatly, "This will not be so easily forgotten." Then she turned and chased after Boxiao. As I watched her leave, I felt an unexpected twinge of regret. Liu Ryan's face was exactly my type, but those comments had truly scared me. With her need for control, how could she possibly tolerate being deceived? And 3 days and nights of sex would not even be her limit. I hunched my neck. Thank goodness I had sent that terrifying woman away. Liu Ryan did catch up to Boxiao after all. Just as the floating comments had said, she loved Boxiao's unyielding soul. Not this empty shell of mine. Other than occasionally admiring Liu Ryan's face, I felt no particular way about it. But the atmosphere in our dorm gradually turned strange. Boxiao seemed like a completely different person. He used to be a struggling student. All his time went into part-time jobs. He dressed simply and plainly. His long bangs nearly covered his eyes. But now, he spent 1 or 2 hours grooming in the mirror before going out every day. And he came back to the dorm later and later. Qiang, have you noticed that ever since Boxiao started dating, he has been acting strange? Our roommate Zhang wore a complicated expression. I was playing a game, so I answered casually. Huh, has he? Our other roommate, Zhisheng, nodded firmly. Who exactly is his girlfriend? He is being so secretive. We do not know what she looks like, but she must be seriously rich. Everything Boxiao wears and uses now was given to him by Liu Ryan. A Chanel suit, a Louis Vuitton bag. Every item is authentic. Zhang glanced at me. Do you know what his girlfriend looks like? I shook my head. No idea. I had promised Boxiao I would keep his secret. So about him stealing my photos, I had never told anyone. What if some shady outsider is scamming him? Zhisheng looked a little worried. After all, it was not easy for him to make it from the mountains to biking. He worked hard to get here. Have you noticed that Boxiao's current style is becoming more and more like Qiang's? Zhang pointed at the clothes hanging above us. I looked up at them. It was true. Several had colors and styles very similar to mine. Well, is it not because baby Boxiao's online dating photos all showed him wearing suits? Boxiao is deeply insecure. Many of the hobbies he told the heroine about actually belonged to the supporting guy. A sensitive younger guy needs a heroine. Like her, a controlling partner who takes the lead. My girlfriend wants to treat our whole dorm to dinner. Boxiao announced this when he returned. At the Black Pearl Western restaurant. It cost over 10,000 yuan per person. He deliberately emphasized. You normally need a reservation. Everyone is going. Do not worry about saving my girlfriend money. Zichi and Johnny exchanged looks. Both looked slightly taken aback. It was not as though they could not afford the place. Boxiao's gaze settled on me. Especially you. Qiang. You have to come. I hesitated. That restaurant's desserts really were delicious. I had even gone there last Christmas just to take photos. All of us are taken now. You are the only one left. Boxiao said with a smile. My girlfriend's best friend happens to be single too. She is quite pretty. Though her standards are a little high. I wonder whether she will like Qiang. There was a strange hint of meaning on his face. Before I could react, Zichi gave me a gentle shove. Then go. Zhang Yi chimed in too. Our Qiang is so handsome. Who could resist him? Oh, here we go. The second female lead is about to appear too. I have to admit, the second female lead is breathtakingly beautiful. And her figure is flawless. If her family were not wealthy, she could make a living as a fashion model. Too bad this story is not a harem romance. Otherwise, how nice would it be if Boxiao could have the second female lead too? As I was lost in thought, Boxiao suddenly spoke. You are not worried it will be awkward if you go, are you? It is fine. That was all a long time ago. The other two roommates looked at me suspiciously. What happened? Boxiao brushed them off. Nothing. It is a little secret between Qiang and me. Oh, I see. That is our male lead for you. So magnanimous. Since he says it is fine, then I do not mind either. After all, I had already told the heroine the truth. Before we left, Boxiao specifically asked me, how does this suit look on me? I blinked. I thought he genuinely wanted an honest opinion. It makes your complexion look darker. Boxiao's face immediately darkened. Qiang. I spent ages picking out this suit. Do you want to wear a suit too? So, you deliberately said that? What is the supporting guy doing? Boxiao finally worked up the courage to wear new clothes out. Sure, Boxiao has a darker complexion, but that is only because farm work tanned him. There is honor in hard work. Exactly. You have no idea how hard real life can be. The supporting guy just wants attention, so he can make a stunning entrance before the heroine. I swear, I would never dare offend the male lead. Then it is fine if I do not wear a suit, right? I changed into a simple shirt and slacks. When we reached the restaurant, the others needed the restroom, so they told me to go into the private room first. The room was empty. I put on my headphones and started a game, completely unaware that a tall figure was approaching from behind. The woman bent down, intimate and natural, and pulled me into her arms. Her warm breath brushed my ear. I missed you so much. Baby. Ruyan lifted my chin. Her kiss was about to fall. I shoved her away. You've mistaken me for someone else. She froze. The lingering heat of desire still remained in her eyes. From behind, our bodies appeared tangled together, just like a couple madly in love. Well, you just seem close. I walk in, and you are already rubbing your romance in my face. A lazy, unhurried female voice drifted over. I looked toward the sound. The woman at the door was impossible to miss. Calling her a peacock would not be an exaggeration. Her chestnut brown hair was cut short and impeccably styled. Brilliant sapphire studs glittered at her ears. Her delicate features were almost dazzlingly beautiful. Her eyes and brows carried an unapologetically bold air. I could not help admiring her a little longer. Beautiful women, after all, are a feast for the eyes. She sauntered into the private room. Her gaze traveled between Ruyan and me. She raised a brow and chuckled. Not bad. You hit it well. The unlikeliest person has finally found love. You actually got yourself such a handsome boyfriend. The moment she finished speaking, hurried footsteps suddenly sounded behind us. Boxiao hurried in, still adjusting his trousers. He had heard every word. Ruyan slowly straightened. I rose from my seat too, putting space between us. Boxiao strode forward, forcing his way between us. He gripped Ruyan's hand tightly and declared possessively, You are mistaken. I am Ryan's boyfriend. And Xiaorou's gaze swept over Boxiao. Her expression turned more amused. I thought your boyfriend was a poor student? A faint blush crept across Boxiao's face. And Xiaorou really has a sharp tongue. That is just how she is. In fact, Liu Ryan had thought Boxiao was different from the moment they met. Go on, keep drawing our Boxiao's attention like that. You will regret it someday. Once everyone was seated, and Xiaoru and Liu Ryan chatted on and off. I had wanted to sit as far from them as possible, but Zhang Yi and Ziqi beat me to it. I had no choice. I sat beside Xiaoru. Unfortunately, it was directly across from Liu Ryan. I pulled out my phone, figuring I could play another round while waiting for dessert. Boxiao kept trying to join their conversation, but Liu Ryan and Xiaoru were discussing which companies to acquire and which contracts to sign. I focused entirely on my game. At some point, the entire room fell silent, and Xiaoru was watching me play. Even Liu Ryan, across from me, was watching me. For some reason, whenever our eyes met, I always felt a little guilty. Boxiao spoke at that moment. You play games every day at school. Why are you still playing now that we are out? The comment came out of nowhere. Zhang Yi glanced at him, then casually said, What is wrong with playing games? Does this restaurant explicitly ban it? And Xiaoru filled my glass with juice. Qiang, I have been playing this game lately too. Will you play with me? When I looked up, I met her seductive, affectionate eyes. I nodded. Boxiao said with a smile, Miss N is being so proactive. Do you have a crush on our Qiang? He had only meant it as a casual joke. He had long heard of Xiaoru's reputation. She was famous for looking down on everyone. She had moved among countless admirers, without ever being drawn in. But Xiaoru sat upright, her smile open and frank. Yes, I like Qiang quite a bit. The room went dead silent. Boxiao's smile abruptly froze. A knife and fork scraped across a plate, making a harsh screech. Liu Ryan suddenly spoke. And Xiaoru, read the room. Do not make jokes like that. And Xiaoru raised a brow and turned toward her. Their gazes clashed silently in midair. The mood for the rest of dinner was strange. Liu Ryan and Boxiao were clearly a couple. Yet there was something subtle and odd between them. She wore a cold expression throughout, radiating an icy mood. Boxiao barely spoke after that either. Zhang Yi and Ziqi were even more on edge. They quietly messaged me on WeChat. Qiang, stop eating. Let us get out of here. Reluctantly, I put down my spoon. Dinner ended hastily. Liu Ryan said, I will drive you back to campus. Ziqi and Zhang Yi instinctively stepped back. They did not dare ride in her car. This little princess was far too unpredictable. Liu Ryan's gaze passed over them and settled on me. I said slowly, No need. Thank you. The floating comment scrolled wildly. At least the supporting guy knows when to take a hint. The leads need time alone. Do not be a third wheel. Did you really think she was actually going to drive you home? The heroine was only being polite. The gloom in Liu Ryan's eyes deepened. It is hard to get a cab here. Do you not have class tomorrow morning? I paused in surprise. The four of us did not share the exact same schedule. I really did have class tomorrow morning. But how did she know that? Boxiao hurried over. He had left his phone in the private room. Qiang, just ride back to campus with us. I was still hesitant. Liu Ryan stared steadily at me. Is my car going to you? I froze for a moment before I could answer, and Xiaoru had already pulled her car over. She waved at us. I will leave you lovebirds alone. I will take these three handsome guys home. Zhang Yi and Ziqi quietly sighed in relief. They immediately headed for Xiaoru's car. They both already had girlfriends, but a top-tier heiress like Xiaoru was witty in conversation, with impeccable manners. Anyone would feel flattered by such polite praise. On the way back, with Liu Ryan, the source of all that tension, gone, we chatted happily. After we returned, I washed up and climbed into bed. Boxiao returned a full hour after us. He looked dispirited when he came in, with an indescribable gloom in his eyes. Seeing this, Johnny teased him. Boxiao, I thought you were spending the night out, enjoying a romantic date with Miss Liu all night. Ziqi chuckled too. Boxiao froze. Of course not. I am not that kind of person. I would never spend the night out. I just talked with Ryan in the car for a while longer. The moment he said that, Zhang Yi and Zixi's faces darkened. What is that supposed to mean? What century are we living in? We are all adults. Can we not take responsibility for our own bodies? Boxiao's words seemed to imply that any guy who stayed out late alone was frivolous, which was especially uncomfortable to hear. The live comments rushed to defend Boxiao. He grew up in the mountains, with a traditional upbringing. It is normal for him to be conservative. Boxiao was not being passive-aggressive. He was genuinely insecure and conservative to his core. He simply could not accept the boundaries of adult relationships. Exactly. That is why, despite the heroine's strong desires, she cherished Boxiao deeply and did not even dare touch him. The heroine was probably afraid she might lose control, so she specifically had someone else drive Boxiao back to campus. I pondered this. So Boxiao had not come back in Ruyan's car. In the past, Boxiao would have apologized right away for criticizing other guys for being too open. Perhaps dating a little princess had finally given him confidence. He actually raised his chin. I was not talking about you two. Why are you both so sensitive? Zhang had a strong relationship with his girlfriend, and they had been together for several years. Zhisheng was lively and outgoing. He had recently started dating an athlete and was completely smitten. He said that if things went well, he would see what his new boyfriend was working with next month. Food and sex are only human nature. Although I had never been in a relationship, I had read widely. I had even dabbled in trashy, explicit fiction and anime. I pulled open my bed curtain. Boxiao, what do you consider sexually liberated? Does online dating count? I gave him a pointed look, afraid I might say something inappropriate. He finally apologized to them sheepishly. Summer break was coming soon. Zhang asked what I planned to do about my internship. That finally brought me back to reality. I had completely forgotten about it. I have always been easygoing. I was not particularly worried. It is fine. If nothing else, can always get my dad's company to stamp my and muddle through. As soon as I finished speaking, Boxiao suddenly looked up from beside me, his face full of disapproval. You cannot do that. You cannot rely on your parents for the rest of your life. Build up more internship experience. It will make finding a job easier later. Relying on your family to bail you out is not a long-term plan. I was a little bewildered. I tilted my head and looked at him. My parents do not mind. They can afford to support me. My family is not fabulously wealthy, but my parents run a stable company. I am their only child, and they do not need me to struggle for a living. My question left Boxiao speechless. You are still so young. You should not coast through life like this. Send out more resumes. That is how you will have a chance of joining a major company. I silently thought it over. It was not that I found his hardship preaching particularly convincing. The main thing was that my parents were traveling abroad during the break. Zhang was going to visit his girlfriend. Zhisheng had already arranged an internship. I would be the only one left in the dorm. Even playing games every day would get boring. That night, Z messaged me. Why are you not online? I sent her a screenshot of the resume I had only half finished. After dinner that day, I received a friend request on WeChat. I instinctively assumed it was from Insecurity. The profile picture showed a black volcanic landscape. Its colors were dark and somewhat gloomy. The nickname was just the letter Z. We also added each other in the game. She was incredibly skilled. She just did not like using voice chat. I did not mind. I often talked to myself anyway. After a while, I could not help muttering, "Why do I feel like you are a little strange? How am I strange?" At dinner that day, you were dressed like a peacock showing off its feathers. She did not say much online, but she always responded to everything I said. Her WeChat feed was completely empty. She had not posted a single update. I even wondered whether this was an alternate account she used to juggle admirers. Her chat status changed to typing. Do you want to see it? Even through the screen, I could somehow hear the gritted teeth behind those words. Before I could reply, she sent me a photo. It had been taken outside a bathroom. Holy hell. She was absolutely stunning. She was a feast for my eyes. Even after losing ranked match after ranked match, I had never exclaimed like this. TSK, TSK. A beautiful woman should be rich and generous. I will skip gaming tonight. I have to revise my resume. She replied quickly. Which company do you want to join? I joked. Obviously, a big corporation with high pay and little work. After that, I completely forgot about it. A few days later, an offer from Zhisheng Group appeared in my inbox. I had sent my resume to countless companies over the past few days. I could not even remember when I had applied to this one. Johnny let out a shriek when he heard. Qiang, you are incredible. This is a top-tier company. I was just about to look into the company's background when Boxiao excitedly rushed back into the dorm. I got accepted. I got an offer from Zhisheng Group. Zhisheng glanced up at him. He could not understand why Boxiao was so excited. If I remember correctly, this is the Liu family's company, right? Your girlfriend is a little princess. Why make such a fuss over her arranging a job for you? I thought all your hard work lately was for some other major company, but it is still one of the Liu family's companies. Zhang clicked his tongue. Boxiao could not help arguing back. I did not rely on my girlfriend. One submitted my resume myself. Zhang raised a brow. Oh, Miss Liu actually made her own boyfriend interview on his own? Boxiao, did you two have a fight? Miss Liu would not even help you with something this minor. Boxiao quickly changed his tune. Of course not. Our relationship is perfectly stable. The live comments appeared again. Could you stop being so jealous? Boxiao got it entirely through his own written test and interview. Exactly. The heroine genuinely wants what is best for Boxiao. She respects his hard work. Poor Boxiao. He has been unfairly labeled like this. When the two of them refused to respond, Boxiao turned his attention to me. Qiang, have you still not found an internship? How about I ask Ruyan to put in a word with management? She could arrange for you to join us, leaving everything else aside. You should be able to handle reception or work as a cleaner, right? I was completely baffled. Had he lost his mind? Was he trying to prove his relationship with Liu Ruyan was strong? By putting me down? The more I thought about it, the stranger it seemed. Why was Boxiao so different from the wholesome, noble hero described in the comments? He would rather be misunderstood than explain that he had not relied on Liu Ruyan. You do not need to worry about it. Zhisheng turned my computer screen around. Qiang got an offer from Zhisheng too. You two can be co-workers now, right? Boxiao's pupils contracted slightly. He stared fixedly at my computer screen and checked it several times. After several 10 seconds, he angrily demanded, why did you not say so earlier? I said helplessly, since you walked through the door, you have not given me a chance to speak. On our day at the company, Human Resources gathered all the new interns together. There have been changes to your assignments. You may be randomly assigned to the project team or the administration team. Everyone wanted to join the project team. It offered more opportunities to gain experience. Was there any doubt? Boxiao was obviously going to shine on the project team. The administration team just handled odd jobs. There was hardly any technical skill involved. That was where the male supporting character would end up. The heroine already knew Boxiao had joined the company. She certainly would not let his talent go to waste. And sure enough, Human Resources assigned me to the administration team. Come with me. As I passed Boxiao, he sent me a message. It is fine, Qiang. The administration team is pretty good too. His gloating could not have been more obvious. I replied, then come with me to the administration team. He stopped answering me. Just as I thought. He did not mean what he said. Human Resources took me up to the top floor by elevator. Someone was waiting for me outside the elevator. I never would have guessed that my main job would be assisting Special Assistant Wu with Liu Ruyan's day-to-day work. This counts as administration too. I was skeptical. Special Assistant Wu nodded without changing expression. Yes, you are very lucky. Out of hundreds of resumes, only your zodiac sign was the best match for President Liu. Do publicly traded companies really hire people this casually? When I saw the cold-faced woman in a shirt inside the office, I nearly turned and ran. Where are the documents? Liu Ruyan seemed slightly surprised to see me, but quickly returned to work. After spending every day with Liu Ruyan, I realized she was not as over-the-top as the comments claimed. She really was a conglomerate heiress, but she was not some brainless female CEO who went around threatening to ruin companies on a whim. Her work schedule was packed. I often observed her discreetly through the glass window. Besides me, the live comments were admiring her too. Damn, how could Miss Liu be so beautiful? I have to admit, the scenes where she locks Qiang away are incredibly charged. But the male and female leads are the couple. They are soulmates. Did the person who said that hear themselves? Do you really think Miss Liu is all about platonic love? I have been wanting to say this for ages. I actually ship Miss Liu and Qiang. The comments actually started arguing. The black comments grew more and more obscene. My face grew hotter and hotter as I read. Fortunately, the rest soon turned into gibberish. It was lunchtime again. Thanks to working in the executive office, someone delivered lunch to us every day. The meals were elaborate and almost never repeated. Special Assistant Wu. The executive office has such great benefits. They always send dishes I like. She adjusted her glasses, looking as though she wanted to say something but held back. Yes, you should stay a little longer. Liu Ruyan was actually quite patient. Whenever I reported to her, her gaze stayed fixed on me. I was so nervous that I could not help making mistakes. I got the number wrong. Her voice was beautiful. I momentarily lost focus. Liu Ryan never held it against me. Things that should have taken only a few minutes somehow took half an hour every time. Whenever I left the office, Special Assistant Wu always looked at me sympathetically. "You can dance, right?" Special Assistant Wu asked out of nowhere. I nodded instinctively. When I learned she wanted me to accompany Liu Ryan to a banquet as her male partner, I shook my head like a bobblehead. "You do not want to see the women holding hands and dancing a waltz, do you? President Liu will throw me into the Huangpu River," Special Assistant Wu said seriously. By the time I came to my senses, I was already sitting beside Liu Ryan. "President Liu, I do not have any experience. What if I mess up?" Liu Ryan smiled faintly, her expression ambiguous. "Then I will dock your pay." My eyes immediately went wide. "Open the door. I want to get out." Only when I saw the amusement in her eyes did I realize she was joking. People kept coming over to toast her. Liu Ryan quietly wrapped an arm around me and guided me aside. Then she drained the glass herself. During the opening dance, Liu Ryan and I moved together with surprising ease. When the dance ended, the couples around us all ended with a kiss. Liu Ryan tilted her head back slightly. Her lovely face grew larger and larger in my vision. I could smell the faint scent of white tea on her. My breath caught. In the end, my kiss landed on her face. I clearly felt her heavy breathing. She softly formed my name between her lips and teeth. My heart nearly leaped out of my chest. When I returned to my apartment that night, I opened my chat with C. Missing seemed rather busy lately. She was slow to reply to every message. But for certain questions, she seemed like the best person to ask, given her experience with romance. What does it feel like to fall for someone? A full 5 minutes passed before she finally replied. "Who have you fallen for?" I hurriedly denied it. "No one. If I had to name someone, it would obviously be a beautiful woman like you, with such a great personality, who even helps me climb the ranks." Z replied slowly. "Do you like my face?" The moment I read those words, the image of someone else surfaced in my mind. Someone I should not have been thinking about. I shook my head. "Who would not? Since when have you been so modest, Miss Anne?" She did not reply again. When I arrived at the company the next day, my head was still groggy. A tall, long-legged young woman was sitting on the sofa. She was still wearing brightly colored clothes. She rubbed her face while cursing under her breath. "Damn it, she hits really hard. That crazy woman is completely unreasonable." I walked over, and Xiaoru was wearing sunglasses, but they could not hide the marks around her eyes and mouth. "And Xiaoru, what happened to you?" The moment Xiaoru saw me, her eyes lit up. "Oh, it is you, Qiang. Do not ask. I returned from abroad in the middle of last night. Old Liu offered to pick me up, but then she insisted I spar with her. She is completely insane. I needed to recover from jet lag. She acted like a lunatic. She hit so hard, and kept aiming for my face. And Xiaoru was clearly full of resentment, but I noticed something was off. You were on a plane last night?" And Xiaoru nodded. My heart sank. "Let us add each other on WeChat. I still have not thanked you for referring me to this company." And Xiaoru froze for a moment, then took out her phone. No need to be so polite. It was the least I could do. Once I added my new contact, her moments were full of photos of Xiaoru. She had been abroad the entire time. Her life was vibrant and eventful, all lavish parties and indulgence. She was not C, and she had not referred me for the job either. The only person she would help cover for was Liu Ryan. "Is this WeChat account yours?" I pulled up the account on my phone, and Xiaoru's eyes darted away. "It is my alternate account." I was so angry, I laughed. I took off my employee badge without a word. Special Assistant Wu came over, her eyes wide. "I quit." I was seething with frustration. I turned and headed for the elevator. Special Assistant Wu turned to Xiaoru for help. "Miss N, what just happened? What did you say to him?" And Xiaoru glanced at Liu Ryan nearby and rubbed her nose. "Well, you to carry on. I will come back another day," she muttered as she walked away. What rotten luck. Old Liu is moody enough already. She finally figured out her feelings, and then fell for someone just as difficult. Liu Ryan strode after me on her long legs and grabbed my wrist. "We need to talk." The office shielded us from prying eyes. "President Liu was playing me fun for you. Boxiao told me before that you deliberately would not admit we had been dating online. So, on impulse, I agreed to pretend to be a couple with him for 3 months. Liu Ryan's voice was somewhat hoarse. "It was because of your photos that I kept talking to him. We never discussed anything inappropriate. Boxiao had deliberately copied the way I spoke, pretending that my daily routines were his, and telling Ruyan about them. But she quickly realized something was wrong. Boxiao's words were cutting. He saw so many things in a negative light. It was completely at odds with the persona he had created. Ruyan thought something wrong with me emotionally, and suggested we meet. But when she met me, it was the real me again. She thought I had been deceiving her. At dinner that night, I did not even look at her once. Ruyan was furious, and Xiaoru was strutting around like a peacock again. But at the time, Ruyan was Boxiao's girlfriend. She had no right to interfere, so she added me on WeChat with an alternate account. Qiang, I am sorry. I planned to tell you once the 3 months were up, but she could not keep it in any longer, especially after she saw that I seemed to like Xiaoru's face. So she just beat Xiaoru up instead. I invited Boxiao to dinner. His eyes were bloodshot, but he was full of energy. He wore a sharp, perfectly fitted suit, not an awkward imitation of someone else's style. His whole air was completely different from before. You know now. Boxiao broke into a bright smile. Before the time was even up, President Liu told you the truth. He ordered a steak with practiced ease. He was now a polished urban professional, not the boy who always kept his head lowered, sensitive and insecure. Having come from the mountains to this glittering city, Boxiao had always felt he did not belong. So much about it rubbed him the wrong way. The new clothes we bought without a thought. The dinners that cost hundreds or thousands. Each one was like a tiny needle, piercing his sensitive, insecure heart until it had nowhere to hide. He was fiercely competitive by nature, and poverty had sharpened that pride to the bone. Back in our dorm, we knew how hard he worked at his part-time jobs, so we often offered to treat him to meals. But he was always stiff and reserved, unable to simply accept anyone's kindness. Last year, Ruyan came to our school for a forum, and happened to see you feeding cats. She stood nearby and watched you for a long time. When she was about to add you on WeChat, you had to leave. Boxiao paused. I gave her my contact information, used your photo, and pretended to be you. No wonder. During that time, Boxiao had eagerly joined me to feed the cats, even though he used to hate the stray cats at school. Sane people in the mountains could barely afford food. So, why would anyone be sentimental enough to feed cats? When he chatted with Ruyan, he sent her nothing but my photos. He also deliberately imitated me, telling her about my daily life and my preferences. But the rough edges of his worldview could not be concealed. The day Boxiao met Ruyan, he could not resist telling another lie. I know Ruyan is your type. If it were not for me, you two would definitely have ended up together. So, he asked Ruyan to pretend to be his girlfriend for 3 months. Looking back now, it was pretty childish. Boxiao gave a self-mocking laugh. Qiang, for a while, I was deeply jealous of you. But I understand now. You were just lucky. You were born into a good family, and heaven gave you good looks, too. Those things, I will have them too. He boasted at length about his latest project, his eyes blazing. One day, I will become one of the best in this industry. I will succeed. In that moment, I sincerely believed that his words would come true. When the floating comments saw Boxiao and me having a peaceful meal together, they immediately went wild. What is going on? There was no update for a while. And now the plot has gone completely off the rails. The author said the arguments in the comments got too intense. Powerful, self-made male protagonists are popular these days, so the male lead ended up happily going solo. There is too much fan fiction about the female lead and the second male lead, and it is all explicit. Can someone share the link? I want the happy ending version. Do not say it out loud. I said it all along. Miss Liu is physically attracted to Qiang. You all said I was obsessed with making everything sexual. And now you have changed your minds without me. The author commented that she dreamed Miss Liu was hunting her down, and woke up in the middle of the night to rewrite the plot. Apparently, she is furiously writing a 3,000-word explicit bonus chapter to prove Miss Liu can go 7 times in one night. Waiting. My butt is big, so tag me first when it drops. I had a faint feeling that he would not appear again. I could understand everything else. But what exactly did 7 times in one night mean? When Zhang Yi learned that Ruyan and I were together, he slapped his thigh hard. I knew it. That dinner gave me a stomachache. Zichi wore an unsurprised expression. No wonder. Miss Liu looked at you like she wanted to devour you. Ruyan could not wait to announce to the world that we were together. She even gave tens of thousands of employees extra meals and cash-filled red envelopes. Even my parents messaged me to ask whether I was getting engaged. I hurried to set the record straight. We are only dating. It is not happening that fast. Liu Ruyan specially arranged a dinner, and Xiaoru looked at Liu Ruyan's smug, radiant expression, eager to stir up trouble. Her seductive eyes curved slightly. Qiang, I'm much gentler than old Liu. Why not consider dumping her and come with me? Someone behind us said darkly. If you are not eating, get out. After a few drinks, I felt a little dizzy, so I had Liu Ruyan help me upstairs. Liu Ruyan's eyes brimmed with an unshakable love. That earlier question surfaced in my mind again. Ruyan, what does 7 times in one night mean? Liu Ruyan's gaze darkened. You'll find out someday. I wanted to press her further, but the rest of my words were swallowed between our lips.